Welcome to our Trade to Developer podcast. My name is Suzanne Elsey.
My name is Craig Shields, and we've often been asked to share how we've transitioned from trade to developer. We're now ready to reveal all. So I'm passionate about obviously what we've put together with this course, Trades Developer, and this podcast about trades getting into being a developer. But I get a lot of trades coming to me saying to me, it's all right for you, Craig, because you're a main contractor and we're not main contractors. We're just subbies that come on the job, which is completely wrong, because my company is CS Carpentry and Construction Limited, and I go onto certain sites being a carpenter, but I know the process of from start to end as being running a job. I know when I've got to come in on first and second fix. Plumbers and electricians know when they got to come in on first and second fix, and they're all very good at telling each other how to do their own jobs as well. So I think they've worked on jobs for long enough that if you're a plasterer, a painter, whoever else, you don't get a builder that does everything. You do generally get general builders that do sort of extensions and stuff like that, but generally it's trade by trade by trade, and everyone works with each other. So going from trade to developer and having that mindset of, well, I'm just a subby on a job, I can't be main contractor. It's all right for you to say, Craig, this is what you're doing. But I think this just complete mindset is wrong, because it's a process that you've got to follow from start to end, from demo to snagging to finishing it, all the way from start to beginning. Every trade, as long as they're a good trade, knows that process, and they know how it's got to start and how it's got to look at the end. And they also know lots of trades. If they're working on building sites, surely they're working with other trades anyway, and generally they're probably working like with our company, we've got the same sort of trades each time, so they all generally know each other now. They'll work on other jobs with each other now and pass work with each other. So electrician always knows a plumber always knows a tiler always knows a mastic guy. It's just when you've got your right team there and you can run it from start to end. I think the biggest mindset for trades that they should think about is obviously what we do on our course is that we take them through the stuff that they don't know, which is the developing side of things and building up the power team like that. So and then for yourself, Suzanne, you as an interior designer, gone project manager. So
I wasn't hands-on at all.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. Obviously I knew how I wanted it to look. I knew the products that were going to be used. I knew who I needed to bring in as tradespeople. I'd manage the schedule, book everybody in, manage the payment schedule, make sure everyone was paid, deposits, balances. I did the snagging, like picking up on the snagging, didn't go and physically do the snagging.
Yeah.
It works. It doesn't matter that I was never hands on the tools at all. It's just the process.
We've just said the one that we just bought is that it's taken us 9 months to purchase this project.
Yeah.
And me and Alex said, now the easy bit.
Yeah, exactly.
To build it. So an electrician, I'm sure, or a plumber or a roofer, I'm sure that they've got brothers, cousins, friends, families, and they've also done their own houses. They know how the process works. I think it's just a mindset to say that actually, because I think a lot of trades as well, it's easy for them to walk on site and go, I've done my bit, I'm off. It's not ready. Yeah. And then like they're too used to doing that, and all of a sudden it's going to become their problem.
I think also the other thing with that is when they are doing work on their own property, for example, it's always in amongst working full time.
Yeah.
So it's weekends, it's evenings, it's taking time off. With roofers, it's rainy days.
Yeah.
But actually, going on to another topic that you're quite passionate about is it's not just about fitting in when you can, it's scheduling that work, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's almost that element that they assume it's going to take ages because they're not prioritising it as a job.
Yeah, because obviously they're a subcontractor on sites for a company, and then all of a sudden they're now a main contractor somewhere. It's going to take up a lot more of their time. So, like for us, I push myself to be main contractor, and I think any trade could do that easily. And we've now fitted that into our work schedule, so it's not done in between jobs. It's not done at the weekends. It's actually a full-time job for us. So the whole point of being trade to developer is that you're a trade, now you're a developer, but the developer would have paid the trade, but now you're paying yourself. So it's that mindset of, right, okay, I think the first one that I done, it was done in between stuff because it was quite a small project. So we started off small, so we could do it in between stuff. And but then now the projects that we do are 12-month projects that there's no way you can fit them in. They're going to take 4 or 5 years. So being professional with that all the way through is it just needs to be the same, because it won't work otherwise. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you're going to fit that in there with, oh, right, okay, so the mindset of I'm an electrician or plumber, and now all of a sudden I've got a small refurb that is in my local town that's turning it in from a 2 to a 3-bedroom property. Obviously you've got to do all your due diligence before and booking all the works, and then just fit yourself into that schedule. I know some plumbers before that we knew of doing developing, and they just tell us, right, you guys are going in on that day and that day to do the first fix carpentry, and they would then come in the other days and they'd fit in around their schedule and they'd do the first and second fix plumbing on it. They didn't do the rest of the build. They didn't fit the steels. They didn't do the tiling. They did that. They just programmed it. And I think the main thing is for a trade to think, well, I'm not a main contractor, but I'm a subcontractor. It's knowing the process, isn't it? And I think that every trade should know the process. And it's just about setting it out from the beginning. So you don't, on smaller projects, you don't have to be there all the time, as long as you're employing the right people. And most of them small projects anyway can't have everyone in there at the same time. When the plasterers are there, everyone's out of the way. They're plastering the whole house. Gives you more time to go off and fit your other jobs in. So if, like for us, when we first started, it was a matter of having 4 large projects running at once. And at the moment, I've got 2 client projects running with two of our own developments, because that's how it works. And they're all fitting in around each other, you know. So I think it's just a matter of that mindset, really. Because like I said a minute ago, is that the subcontractors are easy to walk on and walk back off again. I think every tradesman know that every tradesman will find an excuse not to be there because they've got that other phone call saying that they need to be there to fix this, and they're just trying to get out of it. So, and I think now this is like, oh, I can't get out of it now. It's actually my own job. But what they got to think about it from the long term is, it is their own job. They're paying themselves for it. They're in control of it. So fit in right and get rid of that mindset, because it's now become your pension.
It's taken us 7 years to make the transition from working with clients through to developing our own portfolio, and we can speed that up for you. If any of this resonates, please do register now, and we can help you transition yourself from trade to developer in just 12 months. Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it with the guys that, you know, your guys, that they love working on those developments that they know are for our portfolio.
Yeah, that's it.
They prefer it to being in residential clients' houses, don't they?
Yeah.
And
I get better results out of my guys being on our own projects, because one, they get to know who we are and what we do, and they're like, oh, that won't work. Suzanne doesn't like that. Won't do that. But then if you go from client to client, you're always waiting on answers as well. So that's why I'm very passionate about this whole thing about trades developer. That's the whole reason why we put this course together and we've put this podcast together, is that trades really need to see the benefit of what their skill set is. And I think a lot of them will beat themselves down and say, well, I can't do that, when they can. They know the process. They probably don't know the other side of things with purchasing, probably purchase their own property. There's lots of stuff that we can help them with throughout that, with putting your power team together with tax advisors, mortgage brokers, and getting the right advice on what the market is at the moment or where to look for properties. Yes, that's a different ballgame, and 75% of that is actually the development. Actually doing the job is the easy bit. That's the bit they don't need to worry about, you know. So,
and obviously something that we're hearing a lot is, but what if I fail?
Yeah.
But then they can't pinpoint what do they mean by that.
Yeah, that's right.
Because what can you fail at? It takes longer, it costs more.
Yeah.
You know, what does failure feel like or look like?
Yeah, well, then that's another thing that I've always said, if I haven't been on the tools for a while, but if it all comes to whatever else, I just have to do it myself. Just have to pull in some favours from some family members that are in the trade, and ask them to do it for us, but hopefully it never gets to that one. That's always the risk that I've always looked at and gone, well, what if we can't afford to do it? Well, we'll just have to do it ourselves. And again, going back to what I say about a trade developer, this is why I think it's so important that trades actually realise there's a massive opportunity out there for them for doing this. And we've spoken about it before, that we've been on courses and we've been on seminars and that, and they turn around and they say the first thing to do is find a good builder or trade. And it's like, why do we need to find that? Yes, you can work with people to do it, but why do we need to be doing it from all the time and having this added stress and building someone else's future for them when we could do it ourselves and add it into our schedule easily? Do you know what I mean? So
I guess what we're saying is, in answer to the question of, I'm not a main contractor, so can I be a developer? The answer really is yes, you can.
Totally agree. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for your support, and please subscribe to the upcoming podcasts.
Just remember the famous quote from Henry Ford: if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.